two sides of the same coin. It's not just the depression, the anxiety and all that. Mental health is the good side. You could feel well mental health. You know, wellness is mental health. And it's talking about these are the things to keep you on this side of mental health as opposed to being on this side of mental health. And I find it, for me personally, just going and look at art when I'm feeling down makes me feel better. I know there are people who write, there are people who go and see plays, who go and see films, who pick, you know, I've got a friend who has, you know, nasty mind. Just watching interesting television helps. And so
okay, thank you. I'm going to cut you there because there's a lot of people to speak. Thank you. Next.
So one of our words was wholeness, and I feel it kind of encapsulates creativity, because what did we say about wholeness? We said that
it's very similar to Dominic. I just thought wholeness, as in a general sense, was what mental wellness or mental illness sort of strives for, this feeling of being whole mentally and physically, and so in my head, that's kind of like that's kind of the place that I feel like we want to be, we like to be, we want to feel whole.
So creativity is one element that can lead to wholeness.
So you vote for it?
So are we voting for...
Well, we need to go through the words and then vote.
Okay, so one of our words was on our group was need. That we shall do. And how I saw that, using some of what you said about the flip side of things. So when you started talking, you used the word need about 4 times. So what do you need to help in mental health? Or what don't you need? So like, I don't need that stress. I need that support. I need that financial help. I need to be settled. I don't need this. That's what the reason we use the word need. Whether you think it's strong enough, I don't know.
And it can be better.
Pardon?
Well, it can be better.
Why?
Because need can apply to anything, really. I need money, I need a house.
Which for me was kind of the point.
But it also,
a struggle.
it also says I don't need.
Right.
That's the point. I don't need.
Don't need a drink.
I
Don't need a joint.
I don't need to be arrested. I don't need to be violent.
I don't need to be around this person.
I don't need to be.
I need to be here. I need to be this.
Cool, let's move it
Me
to
versus.
Okay,
That's
another
one
one.
of our words.
So what we're saying, so suicide, creativity versus, what was it, wholeness?
Stress, I thought, was really key to mental health, mental ill health. It triggers mental ill health. So if we're stable,
the stress and the trauma.
Right, so those two are very same camp. We have trauma from the perspective that something has happened or some experiences all come together
It leads to
that
that.
have shaken our sort of foundations and have us sort of disconnected, to have us sort of arise. So similar things.
I think the stress, stress for me sounds like it's a long-term thing, ongoing thing, isn't it?
No, stress could be, something could lead to stress.
Yes, like so much trauma then.
but stress doesn't have to be as serious as trauma.
It's a symptom though, isn't it?
Stress isn't a symptom.
But stress can also be positive. So a certain amount of stress at work, like say with your boss sets a deadline, you work towards that goal and you get there.
Like it's motivating.
So it can be motivating.
With the right resources.
Yeah, a certain amount of stress to the body when you're training and lifting weights, you're getting fitter.
So I feel like we can kill one of those words because they're close enough.
I mean personally I think stress
trauma.
you can kill.
Let's just do
I prefer trauma, because I think trauma kind of is almost like the scab, isn't it? And then it's kind of like comes off that and is the catalyst as to why the health is declined. And usually, sometimes you're not even aware of where the trauma's come from until you sit down and go through it.
I don't know, I don't see trauma as...
The two could be combined in terms if you were willing to marry it in terms of traumatic stress.
Yes.
one word.
Yes,
Is that legal? Is that legal?
Traumatic stress.
No, that's
That's 2 words.
You might as well say, you might as well PTSD then, post-traumatic stress disorder.
Try another word? Alright, so with
Because we had stress and we got rid of it.
Let's go through other words. We've still got words to go through.
okay, but I feel like we could just knock this one out. So trauma, hands for trauma. In support of trauma.
I mean,
I feel like stress can win. I'm okay with stress representing that
that's
that area.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I didn't see you. Okay, that's actually right down the middle. Okay, let's keep going.
Democracy, boy.
How about loss?
Loss.
We had disconnection. Loss and disconnection, kind of.
We have loss right throughout our life.
Why loss?
But hold on,
So
hold on.
this word is it's out.
Okay.
So loss is symptomatic of mental unwellness because in life we lose stuff and it affects us and affects our equilibrium. There's a whole bunch of things we can lose. It's a loss of relationship, loss of habitat, loss of income,
Loss of support.
all sorts. So loss and stress, I suppose, are quite similar. But yeah,
And it just
Okay.
But also loss of
might be a
wellness.
subset
Also
of
loss of
stress.
wellness.
I'm not keen on that because we lose all the time.
yeah,
You know, we lose our childhood, we lose our adolescence.
but that doesn't turn you into depressed.
Yeah, we lose. Well,
You could lose
we
a
lose,
loved one,
we lose
and that could
jobs,
happen.
money.
But that doesn't mean that loss is not, just because we experience loss outside of mental wellness doesn't mean that loss is not a part of mental wellness, you know what I'm saying? We do lose and we're fine with it all, but loss is a big part of mental health.
Yeah, but even people who, other people, what you call it, go through loss, but they don't become mentally ill.
Yeah,
So,
that's
resilience.
But you can say that with any, I mean,
But
you can say a lot of, there are a lot of people who experience stress and some anxiety, but let's just say there are a lot of people who experience stress and they're fine with it. And there are a lot of people who experience stress and become addicted.
yeah.
So it's, you could say that with any of the
You see, what it points to, in my view, is that standard to any form of life at any period of human history, including now, are challenges, stresses, traumas, all sorts of things negatively coming at you. So what is most important as to why some people grow through it and some people fall into depression, this is personal resilience, mental, emotional resilience.
So that's coming up with an answer, but so I guess the question is loss as an indicator of a cause a valid part of our statement, or is it, in my mind, it might be a subset of something, it might be part of the stress trauma family in which we could just choose one of them to say this is kind of what's happening, and then get to another word that says that might be related to resilience or what the solution is.
Because that is what we need to measure at the end of the day. Why does one stand amidst all the stress, traumas and everything else, but a few actually do not stand and they become a member
I
of
feel
the
loss is a good word, but I think as we have to get down to 4, I don't think it's the strongest word.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I
Alright,
feel we
cool,
can
so
cover it
okay,
using another word.
So we try another word?
What other words have we got?
Stigma.
We've got stress and trauma in the same family, and we've got stigma.
Yeah, I think stigma is a big one because, for example, men, if men are going through mental health issues, they're less likely to speak about it because of the stigma that they perceive that they're weak, and they keep quiet and withdraw into a shell and become isolated, and then the whole plethora of other mental issues can take set, like anxiety, like depression, like suicidal thoughts. Because they're too afraid to open up and share and say how they're feeling because they might perceive that they're weak.
I think stigma is the strongest word we've had so far.
So I have a problem with stigma
Yeah.
because I feel that stigma is often self-imposed. So
Well, stigma in society.
Not necessarily. Society
No,
has.
the reason I say this is because lots of people I've talked to who said that who've opened up to other people unexpectedly found that the people, I think people are much more aware of it than we give them credit for. We stigmatise ourselves. I think that lots of people stigmatise themselves by saying that people won't understand.
But where does that stigma come from? If it's self-imposed stigma, where's that inherent? Where's that come
It's
from?
still images of society.
Because we don't talk
People
about
have
it.
to have been fed that message at some point where mental health is something not to be proud about from a negative perspective. I get where you're saying that there's some people who might view it as more negative than others, but I feel as a whole, it's not something that people are running around.
I don't think that stigma. I think stigma is a symptom of. I don't think it's to do. It creates mental health problems or mental health wellness. I think that stigma is something that happens once you feel that you are in a state of mental unwellness, that you feel afraid to talk to other people. That's why I think. I don't think of it as being part of the whole wellness thing. It's about how we view society. So I don't think of it as a mental health thing.
But that's kind of a flip side to what you were saying about.
I think the two go hand in hand.
The stigma.
Should we vote on it or
I in terms of mental, the term mental health, I don't think it is.
It's not cause and it's not an effect.
Yeah.
But is that the
It is
rule?
an effect.
Did we say it needs to be a cause?
I reckon you've got something
because
under
people
it.
people won't share, they won't open up, they won't talk. And they become recluse and become very isolated. And then the whole world of
So we just take a quick record to see if people like stigma, let's just see where we're at.
All in favour of stigma?
All in favour of stigma?
What we voting for? What word?
Stigma.
7. 1, 2, 3, 7, 5.
Whoa.
Motion carried.
Wow. What's next? So that's how many words you got? One. Out of all of that.
Where are we?
Okay, we've got another 3 to go. Come on, can we speed it up?
He says stigma and trauma
Did
so
they agree
far.
on trauma?
We've got trauma, yeah. Did you say trauma was okay?
I mean,
Well,
we might have to.
we end up with traumatic stress.
Traumatic.
No, that's 2 words.
That's 2 words.
Trauma, stick with trauma.
John, okay.
Stigma.
So on this stigma, sorry, stigma, trauma.
I think we should work on keeping the words that we already have on this list.
Yeah, it's very tempting to invent new words. Stick to the
So what else haven't we tackled yet?
Suicidal. Disconnection.
Should we go with suicide? Someone got an argument for suicidal to be on the list?
Yeah, someone justify that one.
I would speak against it immediately because I think that the majority of people, in my experience of the people I've met who have mental illness, who have had mental illness, none of them felt suicidal.
Well, I had it.
Yeah, my experience.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, because
why
mental health,
they included the word
It's reaching a breaking.
It's a breaking point.
Yeah.
Frustration, isolation, disconnection, anything you want to put there, because it's the point where even if you wanting support, you're shouting out, people are misunderstanding you, you're not getting through, and at the point that you actually logically tell yourself that the logical way out is to actually commit suicide at the end of your life, because it doesn't even matter your children or anything, because the thing that will stop you.
I can understand that's dead end, but what got you there in the first place is the question is what I
Being
was
in
saying.
what got you in the first place is basically, okay, mental health, right, but then you not recognising it yourself, that's one thing. But then others, to get the help to be able to be told that you do have mental health issues, either by your GP rather than just giving you drugs or going to a hospital or seeing a psychiatrist or whatever. I've actually had to section myself after speaking to a number of people thinking I'm having bad thoughts. I didn't get any help anywhere, right? And eventually I actually took that next step, which was to try to take on that. So the point I'm making is okay, maybe suicidal isn't the cause of mental health, but it's a symptom.
It's a symptom from it.
yeah, but what,
Okay, so I'm thinking.
I think that, but because we're talking about the broad church of mental health,
Well, are we though?
I think it's very
The
strong.
program actually is, a theme of the program is mental health and suicide, so that there is a component of this program that is about the expression of
I
suicide.
thought, yes, and I thought the question that posed was, I think the 4 words that encompass mental health. And when I think so,
I
that's
think
why.
it was more about what 4 words that come to you when you think about mental health.
Okay, so that's us as a group then.
What's quite interesting though is that depression hasn't come out in all of that.
I've used some others.
But we're doing suicide in the area right hand from that. But I think it's quite a strong word because I think I've never experienced suicidal thoughts, but a lot of people I know who've had mental illness, suicide has always come up at some point. Or yeah, mental problems, suicide, mental problems, suicide. It's always. I think it's quite a strong.
I've said other things lead to it.
Yeah,
You have to go, it's like a process rather than you don't just come up and commit suicide.
Whereas I think on the other side, I think that there's so much scope in the whole of, so, mental health is a vast area. There are lots of, 1 in 4 people experience some sort of mental health, in this month. And I don't think the majority of them won't get to that point of suicide. Suicide is...
Is there an alternative way?
But you know what?
People in favour of suicide?
Suicide.
Take a vote on it, maybe.
It can work because sorry, I don't mean.
That's extreme, but that is
It's
what it is.
extreme, but I know of a kid worked with us he was happy on the Saturday, and on the Monday jumped in front of the train and killed himself. We don't know. So in an I think
That could have been possession.
Thank you.
I think the question.
he killed himself.
The question for us right now is if we're trying to pick four words that are specific like mental health conditions, or are we looking for four broad words that any kind of condition, any kind of thing regarding mental health can probably fit under?
It's the latter that we can agree on in my mind.
Okay.
Should we have a vote on
See, for me, with suicide, it's a bit like a continuum, and suicide's like the last stop.
It's
You've gone like depression, manic depression, and then
You see, we've got a hard job because there's many words plus the 12 we've come up with that we could use, but we've got to whittle it down to
Is
four.
there a
So
word?
It's not that words aren't applicable or people's feelings and experiences aren't real. It's just that we've got that difficult job of, whittling it down.
These words can't be alike because the way in my mind, I think the way it's supposed to be is there's going to be four corners rather than these words aren't supposed to go next to each other. Because we're trying to
we're not trying to find the same words, we're trying to find different words.
So I got a question mark beside suicidal, but I noticed we have isolation.
We had that as well.
yeah, we got that.
So that might be your word. And we have disconnection.
Disconnection.
So there's a theme. What I'm saying, you're right. So we can choose one from those words. There's a theme there.
To isolation, disconnection.
Use that confusion, but I mean, see what I'm saying? So we could all of those are like in the same kind of category.
Isolation, you can be locked up in prison and just
Yeah,
so isolation would be a good one. Because I see good men go into prison.
You could be home
Over
by yourself,
disconnection.
still isolated.
Isolated anyway. Perception of isolation could be
Should
anywhere.
we take a vote on isolation versus
You're walking
disconnection?
out in the street, it's still isolation.
All in favour of isolation?
Over disconnection.
Over disconnection.
Over disconnection.
We can make it work.
Alright, so you've got three now.
You got three?
We got just give me this one.
Just recap on the three words you got.
Isolation, stigma, and trauma.
Isolation, stigma, and trauma.
We got a
And so
question
what-
about suicidal.
We had the word over here. I think it might be good for you to share.
Possession, gentlemen.
So we have possession.
And you over that? one?
Yes, my argument with that is that a lot of things, the state of being mentally ill is not fully recognized, and yet it is so, quite often involves psychic phenomena. And one of the things that interests me as you spoke about suicidal thoughts, and when you mentioned
Well, he said he jumped in front of the train. And I said,
there you go. In fact, this morning I was at a ward round, a young man, only 26. He also jumped in front of a train. That was only one of many serious attempts he's made at suicide. But something you mentioned, I think, when you were describing this person who was in the morning fine, and then in the afternoon, did he succeed? I can't remember. Committed suicide. Somebody said that.
You said the guy
He was fine.
Was he successful? Did he kill himself?
But is this for the word possession?
Within this broader frame, that I would urge everyone to recognize that a paradigm shift or extension is required. Never mind about the established paradigm. Because if we are serious about getting to understand the reality of what so-called mental illness is about, then we've got to be students. We've got to be prepared to learn how it works at a different level. Beneath visibility, just like the iceberg, tip of the iceberg is mostly what we're dealing with, that which is measurable, testable by science, but the bulk of the iceberg beneath visibility, which is even the foundation of the visible bit, is possession.
How does others feel?
Possession, again, I would argue, is also bridging back to African culture and recognition.
How possession specifically?
Possession, a lot of the
As in being
voices.
possession means that you mean?
Yes, being possessed by earthbound spirits. Let me just say that.
I can say this, that
Yes,
when
sure.
I felt suicidal,
Yes,
my mindset was completely different.
Of course,
thank you,
And
It's just
I
that
would,
you-
now that I'm
you're
sitting here, I would not like to think that I could do that.
thank you.
But at that moment in time, That's what I wanted to do, and something told me.
And
this is what I've been in a situation where it's only when that paradigm is open, only when that paradigm is opened up, as I'm trying to do now, that it gives you permission to say, yeah, actually, we must open it up.
I agree with that because
Thank you.
the thing
We
is,
must open it up.
if you went to a white doctor, he'd be giving
Thank you.
Not
But this is
understanding
exactly what you said.
that I'm telling you what I'm saying, it's true. This possession,
We
I
must
know.
open it up.
And we as ourselves know
Thank you.
there's more.
And in opening it up, we are also respecting what our
Sorry, I'm not quite clear on this. So you're saying about being possessed by
earthbound spirits.
Spirits,
by
demons,
spirits? Okay.
anything.
In Jamaica, should I call it in Jamaica?
Dopey.
Dopey.
And I wouldn't even say earthbound spirits. I would go as far as to try to
Demonic
describe it. I would just say
Not demonic. There's a reason. I'll come back to that.
Some of them are.
I would not even say earthbound spirits. I would say possession is far enough as to go, because there's obviously something inside me that is not myself. That is
Right, and so that's the part that I think
Yeah.
has more reach,
yeah.
in that it's just saying, as you are right now, there's something foreign that's entered you,
That's
whether
right.
it's your thinking or ideas or whatever, that's messing with your ability to be calm and harmonize with your.
And think logically.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
clearly.
We must not be afraid to call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
That is part of the problem of this society, which has a knock-on effect, negative knock-on effect. You yourself, my brother, put it so well before when you were saying, how we are a certain way as a people, but we're trying to fit into another man's paradigm.
So, can I ask a question? Are we only talking about mental health in black people then? Because this is where the conversation seems to have gone.
In my opinion,
So, when the term mental health, are we only talking about mental health in black people?
Think about the briefers. I mean, Lambeth have got this issue.
No. I'm talking about the question that was asked. So, are we
I was
only
actually
thinking
pertaining
about?
to black people.
Or is it only pertaining to black people? And the reason I'm asking that, are we saying that mental health is different
In black people and white people.
than in black people than in white people?
I would say so.
When white people
perception
experience...
of it is.
No, I'm not talking about perception, I'm talking about when white people experience issues of mental health, are you saying that what they're experiencing is something different?
No.
That's what I'm asking.
I think once you mix
Stay all night.
mental health in with race, it is completely different kettle of
Yeah,
fish.
and I think it's
I
dangerous.
think it's a
I
completely
think
different
because,
conversation.
as you're saying about possession, I think it is possible, but I don't think it's just exclusive to black people.
Thank you.
No, it's not.
And it's so important
So,
because
that's what I'm saying. It's,
It's not. It's not.
Not
It's
just
not.
black
About earthbound spirits.
It's like
So
a-
give us 20 more seconds on
And
this
you're
topic.
not talking about the
And then we need to-
demon possession either, right? And you said you've got some reason to say
well, why not?
it's
Why
not.
not?
Because it's possession.
It could be. We don't know what type, because it's abstract. No one's measured it. No one's tested it.
It doesn't
No
have
one
to
can
be.
identify it. So how do we know that it's not demonic?
He's got to be, he wants to split the two.
The reason why, as someone who's been looking at this for many decades, I'm very careful about use of terms, use of words. Demons, a lot of churches use it and talk about being possessed by demons. When you understand what demons actually are, then you realize the nature of their species is such. It is not possible for demons, in terms of what they are, and I could go into it another time, to possess a human being.
No, not that way.
But the only entities that are able to possess or project their own volition, that is why thoughts came to you, it's of the same species. So when we talk about spirits, we're talking about people like us. It's just that the difference is that we're embodied right now.
Yeah.
But in terms of what happens to many people who are drug addicts, or they become earthbound after passing on. And some of those are bad people and very malicious.
So you were talking about respecting our culture, right, and our ancestors. So when you've got a white person who seems to be possessed, where does that?
Why I say why? Let me just two things. One, all the processes that we're talking about here, including possession, also applies to the whites. And I know because I've spoken to many, and many have thanked me over and above the psychiatrists who are dealing with them. because suddenly I give them a frame of reference that makes more sense of their experience. Okay? So it applies to all peoples because we're all human spirits. Okay? Now, in terms of the differences, the cultural, racial, that's why I bring it up, is because the white race, generally speaking, in the West, have become more intellectual materialist in their development and have moved away from recognition of the spiritual, whereas we have not so much. That is why go to most churches, you see black people full it up, and so on and so forth. So we are still even psychically more sensitive and open, and that has a positive and a negative potential to it.
Okay,
So
we got
vote-
one more to get.
So we vote on possession.
Versus what?
Is it, what other words? Yeah, before we,
So
are there any
the
other?
5 words that we have left that we haven't eliminated, we have possession, we have creativity, we still have suicidal, we have wholeness, and we have need. And the need that was described earlier being wealth.
Yeah, I think we should just vote on the words because we've talked about them all.
Yeah, so now we
Yeah.
talked about them.
So-
You want to have a quick think
Yeah.
and then
No, just say the name.
And then we just eliminate them one by one and see
Say
what
the first word.
Should we go around and see if of those words, if anyone has a word which they like, of those 5?
I think we just vote.
Just vote on them, skip them.
Just vote on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, vote.
So,
okay, so need.
Alright, need. Cool.
I could go with need myself.
How many is that?
how
Wholeness.
many is that?
Number 4.
Not enough.
That's
I
great.
think it was 4.
Not enough.
Drop 4.
I'll put 5.
No, we don't know
I
yet.
could
Don't know
I'd
yet.
go with need. Wholeness.
Anybody for wholeness?
Wholeness, gone.
1 for wholeness.
1 for wholeness.
Good.
Suicidal.
2.
3. Creativity.
Oh, we're getting government levels of government levels of voting here.
3. Possession.
I'll go for possession, but not necessarily on your terms.
I might
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
How many did need that?
No, possession got the highest.
Possession got high.
6 for
I
possession,
didn't
5
go
for
for it.
need.
No, no.
Position and need.
No, possession.
But only
Possession
one
need.
left.
Sorry, so it's just.
So what was that?
Possession, isn't it?
Yeah, possession wins off of that vote.
Yeah,
okay.
And that was the last. So we
So
have
4 words.
stigma, trauma, isolation, and possession.
So repeat the 4 words.
Stigma, trauma, isolation, and possession.